Okay, this is an Algebra 1 supplementary lesson covering lesson 80B in your textbooks. Word problems involving fractions or decimal. And it's also related to percentage word problems that we've been doing. In all cases of these problems, what are we doing? Okay, they are giving us a known ratio of something, and the something I'm going to use in this lesson is pizzas. Okay, for instance, I'm going to give you 1/4 of a pizza, and yeah, I got a new tool in my video repertoire here, so Sebastian, pay attention. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to change that ratio, and so let's say I want to cut my pizza into 12 slices now instead of 4, okay? So then how many pieces of pizza am I going to give you? Let's back up. There are certain ways that we can express quantity or ratio, in this case. Fraction, we can say 1/4, okay? So I divide that. It's easy to understand. I can divide the whole pizza into 4 slices. You're going to get a slice, excuse me. We can express it as a decimal. We know if we take 1 divided by 4 on our calculator and hit the equal sign, it's going to give us a 0.25. Well, if I say I'm going to give you 0.25 pizzas, you might be like, well, that's great, but what does that really mean? Okay, so we recognize that decimal number because the 2 represents the tenths, the 5 the hundredths. It's just a mere way, another way of expressing the ratio, the fraction 25 1/100ths. So I could say I'm going to give you 25 1/100ths of a pizza, and you might go, okay, well, we would normally say reduce it down to say 1/4. That's something we're more familiar with. Okay, another way is we can express it as percentage. Okay, which I have indicated by the P here. Okay, where the number is the percentile. Okay, but we don't normally say, I don't normally say, I'm going to give you 25 of a pizza. And that's kind of a confusing way to say it as a percentile. We would put that percentage symbol on the end of it and say, I'm going to give you 25% of a pizza, which that percent symbol represents what we understand as per 100, okay, or out of 100, okay. Centimeters, there's 100 centimeters in a meter. There are 100 cents in a dollar, okay. So I'm going to give you 25%. That's another way of saying that same fraction up here, 25 out of 100, 25 1/100ths. I'm going to give you 25 of 100 out of 100 pieces of pizza. So it'd be like cutting that pizza up here into 100 pieces around. Okay, I'm going to give you 25 of them. So whether we express it as a decimal, and I said, remember, when we express it as a decimal or as a percentage, it's the same number except the decimal place is moved. Okay, in the decimal case, okay, it's going to be expressed less than 1 if the percentage is under 100%. Okay, in a percentage number, okay, that decimal place is moved over 2 places, okay, and in place of it, we put the percentage symbol to indicate, okay, that that decimal place has been moved over 2 places, okay. In all of these problems, the part or the partial number is that part I'm giving you, that part of the pizza I'm giving you. The whole number, okay, is the whole pizza. Okay, so in all of these cases, the partial, the part, and the whole number are represented, okay, by these 2 expressions. And so, what do we do in these problems? Excuse me, I'm going to back up a little here. We set the ratios equal, okay? If I have a known fraction, that fraction is represented by the partial number over the whole, okay? And what I'm going to do, I have a known quantity. I'm going to give you 1/4 of a pizza. I'm going to equal it to, now when I cut my pizza into 12 slices, the ratio is still maintained. It's still equal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to equate the 1/4 fraction that is already known. I've already said I'm going to give you 1/4 of my pizza, but for 12 slices, what will be the partial number of that? Okay, so I set them equal. Okay, well, I notice to solve for that partial number, I have to rearrange the equation, so I cross multiply. Okay, I cross multiply the 12 up here. Now I'm going to leave this as a fraction. What do I get? I get 1/4 times 12 will give me the partial number. Okay, and of course that's the equation in the book when using a fraction. Okay, the fraction times the whole number will equal the partial number. Okay, and in the word problems, that of, okay, represents our multiplication. The word is represents the equality. Okay, so when we use decimal or percentile forms to express the ratio, it's the same concept. We are equating ratios to ratios, whether we express it as a fraction, a decimal, a percentage. Okay, so I'm going to remove this right now. So what we see, the decimal number will equal that partial number over the whole number. Okay, 0.25 will equal our new ratio. So 0.25 of a pizza will equal the partial number of slices over 12. I cross multiply, okay, and that gives me the equation for decimal form in the book. Okay, it's the decimal number times the whole number times the whole will give me the part. Now in percentage, we notice it's a little bit different because the percentile, remember, that's 25. So when I say I'll give you 25 of a pizza, that's kind of confusing. Okay, we need to convert that into a decimal number. Okay, so we divide by 100. If I'm going to give you 25% of a pizza, I divide it. So I divide it by 100, and that equals the ratio of new slices I'm going to give you. And okay, it comes out to this. So I'm going to use that same ratio expression for a percentage. 25 out of 100, okay, equals how many pieces now out of 12? And again, I cross multiply, okay? And normally, this is the percent equation I said I've used. You know I'm not a big fan of the bubble diagrams for teaching percentage in the Saxon curriculum. Okay, this is typically a percentage formula you'll see used to determine percentage. Okay, now it looks a little bit different from this, but remember on our drills, when we put in stuff to that, we would plug in 25% here to our formula, and we would equal it to what is our, excuse my 2 there, what is our new partial number out of 12, which is our new whole number, times 100%, okay, to properly put it in the formula, okay? But we said the first step is we divide out that 100% on this side, we divide the 100% out on this side, okay? That eliminates the term over here. Over here, it eliminates the percentage signs, okay? Percent divided by percent, they cancel out. Remember, think of that percentage symbol as nothing more than a new unit, like feet or square inches, okay? If we divide a unit by a unit, it cancels out. Well, what does that leave us then? It leaves us 25 over 100, 25 over 100, equals the part over the whole. The part over the whole, okay? So this is why I express this right here. It's just a rearranging of our percentage formula we use. And in fact, these equations they give you in the book are nothing more than rearrangements of setting those ratios equal to each other. The ratio, the known ratio in the beginning, I'm going to give you 1/4 of the pizza, equals the same ratio at the end. What is the solution? It ends up being 3. I give you 3 slices out of 12, okay, to solve that ratio problem. Okay, so this is just a quick refresher. What is going on with all of these problems? Okay, really what we're doing is we are equating a known ratio to a new ratio that we don't know the exact parts of. Maybe we're missing the partial number, or in some of those equations we remember we're missing what the whole number is. Okay, so we are solving for the partial part or the whole part in the new scenario. So I hope this clarifies. If one of these methods grabs you as more understandable than the other, use that. You can equate the fractions equal to each other. You can use the equations in the book. Either way, however you want to do it. Bubble diagrams, like I said, for our class, we're not doing those. Okay, they're a little bit confusing. I think it's much easier to understand it by use of these circles here. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email or a text message, and I'll be glad to answer those. By the way, have a happy Easter, and we'll see you in a week's time. So long for now.